Hey guys, Maz here. So today we're going to talk about Git, which is a version control system for basically it lets you keep track of your projects and establish kind of like checkpoints. So kind of like in a video game where if you go and mess something up and you want to just go back to the last state where you knew it was working, this Git lets you do that really easily, and that's what we're going to try to show in this video. So Git works by having you initialize a repository for each project that you're trying to use Git for. So in this directory here, I've just got a couple of files, and if I run git status, it says it's not a Git repository. So if I run git init, that's how I create a repository, and you'll see if I run ls-a, it created a little .git directory here, and if I run git status, it's going to say we have a couple of untracked files. So we want to track those files. We want to tell Git, hey, keep track of any changes I make to these files. I want you to notice and let me know. So I'll say git add, fork bomb, and memory muncher. Now if I run git status, we'll see we're on our initial commit. So if I run git commit and then -m, and that's just saying we want to provide a message, and I'll say initial commit. And committing is what actually creates the snapshot. So you can add things all day long, but until you actually commit, Git isn't going to officially save that as a version. So usually when you're using Git, it's within the context of using it with GitHub or something else where you're trying to upload your changes to a server so other people can download them and work with your changes. So let's say we want to use GitHub. Let's get a web browser up, and if you're a U of M student, you can go to github.umn.edu, and that'll let you have unlimited private repositories, which is really sweet if you're trying to do your homework and you don't want other people seeing it. So just so I mentioned what I did, I went down here and clicked on new repository, and then I'm going to type, I'll just name it funprogs. It already exists, funprogs2 then. And we want to set it to private because this is my homework, so don't want anyone seeing that. Create the repository. And now it's going to give us a list of commands to run to actually create a repository. So this is basically saying create a file to put in the repository. We already have those. We already initialized it, we already added a file to it, and we already made our first commit. So now we need to tell Git on our computer where to actually upload the changes, so where the actual remote repository is. So if we type in this command, or just paste it in, that'll point Git to the right place, and then we run this command to actually upload our changes to GitHub. So paste that in, and it'll ask for username and password, so just use your U of M stuff, and it uploads the changes. So now if I go back and I refresh this page, it's going to say, okay, we have two files in here, both in the initial commit. So now let's make a change real quick and upload that to GitHub. So I'll run memory muncher, and let's say I want to remove this little message here. So I'll just delete that, save and quit, and if I run git status, it's going to say you modified a file. And if I want to see what modification I made, I can run git diff and then the file, and it'll tell me, okay, you deleted one line and this is the line you deleted. So I want to commit this change. So again, I go git add and then memory muncher. Now if I run git status, it's going to say changes to be committed, and it's just this one modification. So then I run git commit -m removed message. And now if I run git status, it's going to say my branch is ahead of origin/master by 1 commit. That's basically saying this commit that I just made, it's saved on my local version of Git, but it hasn't been uploaded to the server yet. So to upload it, I can run git push origin master. Again, username and password. And if I go to this GitHub page, you can see that that commit showed up. We removed the message 31 seconds ago. Perfect. So now, let's say we make a change that we don't like. So let's say I open up my memory muncher again, but this time I accidentally deleted the first line of the program. So that's not going to compile. And if I run git status, again, it's going to say you modified this file. And if I run git diff on it, it's going to say what I deleted. And now, if you notice in this git status thing, it says you can run git checkout and then dash dash and the file name to discard changes to that file. So I can run git checkout dash dash and then memory muncher. And if I open that back up, that line is back. So Git basically restored it to the last known version that Git has. So that's a really handy feature. Now, usually when you're working with Git, or sometimes, you'll want to download a repository someone else has already created and work on that instead. So let's say that I go to just plain old github.com and I want to just find myself a quick repository and clone it. And cloning it is basically like downloading the repository so you can work with it. So if I go to my repositories here, see, I'll use this Wikipedia one. So you click on this clone or download button, you copy this URL that it shows you, and then I go down here, let's do this in a different directory, and I'll run git clone, and then the URL. And now if I run ls again, you'll see it created this Wikipedia directory. So if I go in here, this is a fully functional Git repository already. So if I run git status, obviously I haven't made any changes, so nothing to commit. But I can run git log and show all the previous commits on this repository, which I can also run git log on here to show removing the message and the initial commit. So one more thing that I want to show is how you could commit multiple changes at once. So let's say I open up both of my files here and I add some comment. Let's just say some gibberish. Save that, go here, put the comment in there too. So now if I run git status, we have two modified files, and we want to commit both those changes. But, you know, obviously I could run git add, fork bomb, and memory muncher, and then run git commit to actually commit those changes. But I don't want to type, you know, if I had like a bunch of files, that's a lot of typing. Instead I can do git commit -a, and -a is basically saying commit all the changes. And then -m added useless comments, and then git status again, just to show it's going to say we're ahead of origin master by 1 commit. So I'll run git push origin master. Whoops, did not type in my password right. And if I go back to this, we can see we added useless comments 30 seconds ago. Great. And if I run git log, we can see that's the most recent commit now. So in the next video, we'll go over more about branches. We'll go over how to reset to any of the commits. So I can actually restore my project to this version. I can go to this version. I can go to this version. I can jump around. So we'll show a lot more of that stuff in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you on the next one.